Welcome, friends and family, to the 2022 PDGA Pro Worlds presented by Dynamic Discs. We are here in Emporia, Kansas at the Jones Supreme 18 in Emporia, Kansas. This is the back nine of round one. I am Leah Sinagini, joined here with...
This is Jennifer Allen.
And we are excited to see what goes down in the second half of this round.
Yeah, we have some incredible throwers here. Keeping it pretty close, a lot of OB on this course, so you can turn a birdie into a bogey real quick. But we can reach and get a lot of birdies out here if we play it safe. We're going to start off here, hole number 10. This is a par 4, 537 feet. Most of our drives are going to land somewhere around, hopefully, these two seaters here in the middle, leaving us just around 150 feet to the basket that's tucked over here to the right. Again, like most of the holes, OB is going to be all along the right and left side of this hole.
Because there's not a lot of wind, this hole is definitely playing easier. Ella's up here going down the middle with a big high flex shot.
Yeah, the wind kind of tried to start picking up a little bit. I know several on our card did get a little bit of a left to right push, kind of what you're seeing Valerie's do there, and some of ours did push into those cedars. So the wind was a little gusty here and there, but nothing like we experienced when we played this course earlier in the year. Paige is going to want that to hyzer back, get away from those cedars. That leaves for a pretty difficult second shot.
Juliana turns it maybe a touch too much. It skips out, so she should have a lane to the basket.
Yeah, forehand isn't her favorite shot, but she can work a good turnover. We'll see if Paige goes with a really high turnover or a forehand there. So she's going to go under the trees and try to get a little skip maybe off. No, she just punches straight out. What a great out. She's just outside circle one. That's a very difficult lie.
Valerie had to step out from the tree trunk, so she had a little bit of an awkward throw, but she gets it right into the circle near the bullseye. Juliana has to throw a straighter shot with some turn, and she gets caught up on that last tree, but she's also in the circle. And Ella, with her long drive, has her pitch forehand and is a tap-in for birdie.
So a little bit left. Great putt to save the birdie. She let that nice and high out of her hand and letting it drop right into the basket.
Beautiful. Oh. We'll see that from time to time, especially with the veterans on that those low putts kind of tend to bounce out with those chains and the rings. So 2 birdies on the card, 3 with Valerie, and 1 par from Paige. This is hole 11. It's a downhill 395-foot par 3. It's a tight fairway with a low ceiling. So the goal here is just to keep it in the middle of the fairway. There's these 2 cedars on the left that if you're under them, it's going to be hard to pitch out and try to save a par. There's OB on both sides, so really you're just trying to keep something straight up the gut. Keeping it lower is better, so that way you can pitch up for par if you miss throw.
Yeah, you can take this hyzer route. That last cedar where Ella is heading is safe underneath there. OB looks like she must have kicked out, but that OB does end right before that last cedar. So you can take that line right up the middle like Valerie is showing us, or the hyzer route is there. I think I pretty much saw, she slides all the way to the front. Snuck it right underneath there. That was beautiful. But I feel like I've seen like 50-50 on this. Juliana showing us the other way. Like I talked about the hyzer, which if you can make a nice, straight, low enough gap, you're hyzering perfectly into a good, safe spot to really run at the basket for the birdie. He just kind of lifted high, right? Like it hit a little wind pocket, kind of jumped up. She got a pretty ugly kick into that big cedar. Ooh, she's lucky. She stayed out of it. Okay. Very difficult approach shot. Totally blind. And that slid right across the street. That was a very tough spot. She had to get it high enough to get around the cedar. But again, like I said, the winds were kind of picking up a little bit.
Don't know where would have gone OB. Like, could be behind it. Either right at it or just before it. Or, yeah, right there. Right here.
Yeah, so that's that corner where I was saying the OB does end. If you can get past that last little bush, then you're totally safe right there. So Ella snagged the bush and didn't slide past back into the inbounds area. She's going to have a pretty ugly, it's like a really difficult kind of pitch around that. That's a fat cedar. You get behind it, it's a awkward kind of turnover putt. Huge bid, and it goes in! That has to be a run back. There we go. Wow, 2 huge putts from JK in a row.
Yes.
Again, tosses it up so high and just lets it just fall right in the basket. Huge smile, as she should. That's something to be proud of for sure.
And Juliana is the single solo birdie on that hole in round 1.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot that Valerie also made it into circle 1.
Yeah, she had a good, probably the best look at it.
That's
left it just a little high. Branch might have been in the way that she had to putt over. I was underneath that tree as well. You kind of, there's some openings, but you have to kind of go up and over or under.
It was nice to see, to get that extra ground play. To
Yeah,
give her the
for sure.
Birdie birdie for Juliana. And then we have 2 bogeys and a par from Valerie.
He's way out of position. Like,
he's gonna have to force it though.
I don't think he can.
I think it's even possible.
It's in the impossible range.
The way Worlds ended last year, you couldn't have wrote that in a book.
After the initial reaction, I had to process.
If you don't even think it's a sport, watching this moment has to get you pumped up.
He's going to need the shot of the century.
I could sense something was about to happen.
Here we are, hole number 12. This is a par 3, 280 feet. This is our island hole. So all drives must clear this tall, mean, thorny grass and get safely into the low cut area. And our basket is just in front of this big cedar MPO basket you see there up on the hill island. So OB surrounding this entire area. I believe it was 250 to clear. So Juliana throwing the preferred path there, throwing up towards those cedars there in between both placements and letting that disc hyzer out to the left. Going long into that cedar is pretty common and not a horrible idea, because otherwise you can skip back out into the tall grass. Ella taking the real high route, trying to knife it in.
Oh.
Just a hair short in front of the basket. I think she's going to stay outside that cedar though. Paige has the distance to go big hyzer as well. Again, the wind was kind of perfect for us on this. It wasn't, we could expose a lot of disc, you know, with that high hyzer with no winds today. Paige stuck underneath that cedar, just having to pitch out.
Let's see if Juliana can ring up another one.
So close. So Ella staying on the outside edge of the cedar, able to take a knee and throw in for the 2. Valerie has almost the same lie. She preferring to just go ahead and straddle out. Both get a beautiful birdie on our island hole. So Paige and JK gonna tap in their 3s, and we are moving on to hole number 13.
Well played. This is hole 13. This hole is 466 feet. It's a par 4. This is a really fun tee shot. It's downhill. You got to hit the gap down the middle here if you're going up the gut. And if you give it enough height, you can definitely get to the pin for some of these distance throwers. Otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward birdie 3. Just got to get it out there and throw your approach.
So short OB creek there. We have to cross the street, which I believe all of us can do. But if you snag those pine trees left or right, you could drop into that first OB area. And then there's also trouble both left and right all the way up that fairway. So we want that first drive to land somewhere in that nice open green area. A lot of the long throwers can hyzer out right over there to where Valerie does, and it's a very tricky putt from there. Those 2 trees have really grown up in like the foliage around the base of the trees. But again, like you said, this is a par 4, so a safe drive is the goal on the very first shot. Paige can sneak in there and get an eagle.
Ooh,
just
okay.
short. Yeah,
putting.
she's circle 2. That's her distance.
Love it. She puts it a little nose up to try to give it a run.
Little ultimate shot there, right, Leah?
Yeah. We love those. Valerie gets it deep enough. She's going around the backside.
Yeah, the OB comes up quick past the basket, so you have to be careful. It's probably circle's edge. Ella having to pitch around the foliage there on the right. She was able to stay in bounds over there, though. So Paige has a look here for eagle. Wind's picking up.
Ooh, she's right in the middle of circle 2, and she's been making these.
This is tough though. You go hard, you can bounce off the top or slide OB. So have to commit on going for that. You can see the white flag there just past her disc. Good birdie putt from Valerie.
Get another one.
Leah, I think we may have our first star frame.
Ooh.
Oh, I jinxed it. That take all the blame for that right there.
And as we know, those are just little mental
Yeah, she's just hit huge putts.
Yeah, we just saw 2 huge circle
huge
two
putts. Again, the wind kind of picking up a little bit, so
we're checking here, and I do see 2 twos.
I did as well. I looked down and saw that. So we have 2 eagles by Natalie Ryan and Heidi Lane. Okay, hole number 14, we have a par 4, 504 feet. This looks nice and open. OB will sneak up pretty quick, both sides of the fairway. It's lined all the way down, creek on the left, houses on the right. Once you get to this shaded area, we have 150 feet left to the basket. They did be a little kinder to us. This creek now playing safe, as I feel like it should, because approaches in were very difficult to get through. That's just some sticks sticking up.
It was more luck than
you had to hit your line, but definitely you could get a really ugly kick off of a great approach shot. So I'm glad to see that they did open up that, and now it is safe in the creek that we have to throw through. And it's a dry creek, no water. Ella puts that pretty high, but able to play it wide enough that it comes down safe. Paige gonna try to really bite off all the distance, get as close to that creek as possible. Gets a little high, so she's gonna hyzer off and just barely falls into that creek there on the left side. So the height of your disc on this is important. Again, like I said, the winds kind of pick up, and for some reason they do some funny things on this hole. They'll really kind of get underneath the disc because the hole kind of has a little bit of a hill that comes up and down. So you'll find some wind pockets. JK able to catch a good kick off of that tree that kept her from going OB, but that one unfortunately kicks her down into that creek. Par 4, she'll still be able to hopefully get up and down and save par.
Yeah, if you're down in there and you don't have too tricky of a lie, it's a circle 2 putt, so you can still make it.
Yeah. You do have to be careful. You saw Ella get a pretty big skip. I have seen several second shots get a big skip off of that dirt there. That's probably, we have a lot of thick grass along this course, but that's an area you can get a big skip and find yourself OB long in the street behind the basket. Paige punching through. Bullseye.
That's a good par save from there, since she had all that distance off the drive.
Not the best lie for Juliana, but she's going to have a good look at the basket. Gives good height.
Here's Ella for birdie.
Beautiful putt.
And same for Valerie for birdie. I said Valerie for birdie. Juliana cleaning up. So 2 pars here, 2 birdies. With the OB taken away, it does play as one of the easier holes.
Follow Ace Run Pro. They do giveaways every month, just $3 a month. You can become an Ace Runner. Join their Patreon account.
This is hole 15. It's a par 3, 325 feet. There's a gap out of the middle that you have to shoot through, and then from here you can choose to play it high, try to hyzer it. There's this tree on the right side that might prevent you from getting to the green. or if you go straight at it, that can be the play, but there is water right behind the pin, so you don't want to go too long.
Yeah, that water comes up quick. I'm curious to see how hard this hole becomes in a few years when these little trees that they just planted get bigger. But if you can sneak under that big tree on the right, it usually will funnel you towards the basket there. Valerie's pitching up inside circle 1. Ella going big hyzer. We'll see if she can miss the branches. She should be parked. Ooh. Yeah. I was gonna say, if that misses the branches, it's the perfect line. We're gonna run it back and see one more time. So
Ooh.
Good height, but you have to clear this tree. But it is right in the perfect line to the basket.
She's coming in with so much spin.
And that is, she's really lucky that hit the pole. That could have skipped right over to the lake. It had a lot of juice. Yeah, it had some juice on it. Paige trying to take the same line, but does not push it over to the right far enough. So she's going to be a safe spot over there on the left side. You can also just go straight at it, you know, and just take that big fluffy tree out of the way. Beautiful drive by Juliana as well. Probably about 20 feet, 25. Gives it a high bid and safely places her. There's nothing wrong with laying up this hole. This is a pretty tricky basket. You can get an ugly rollaway pretty quick.
So close.
Paige doesn't. That stays down.
Yeah, you definitely, this is a good birdie to get, but
it's not a have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great 2. But it's kind of a bonus hole for sure.
And it's an excellent 2 if you're Ella Hansen on this hole this round. She still has not tapped in her birdie.
When you're touching the pole, you're going to be last to putt.
I like to see that smile. And even if it did go long, this grass is pretty grabby, so she still could have had a circle 1
Yeah,
putt.
I don't know. You get over that ridge. Water's scary. It comes up quick.
Great hole. 2 birdies, 2 pars.
Moving on, hole number 16, we have a par 5, 827 feet. If the wind is up, this can be very tricky. We want to get around the flagpole, but don't get left into the cedar and don't get right into the parking lot. From that tee area, we have 400 feet left. You have to get over all of this tall brush, back to the clearing, which is the safe landing zone, and there you find our basket OB surrounding this entire island area, except for there's now an opening on the right side. You can play along the road, but tricky to stay safe along that road. Valerie playing it to a kind of placement spot. Nice safe landing zone. Keeps her out of the cedars. Cedars like to suck up all the hyzers. We'll see how many of these it eats. There's one.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what happens. It's so hard to trust your drive over that OB parking lot and not get too huge of a skip that's going to put you behind the cedars. For us to clear in front of that last cedar is really difficult. Paige gets very close.
And that was a good kick out too.
Yes. If we can get towards that first cedar and a clear run-up throw, we can go for the green in 2.
Yes. Those big bomber shots are really fun to see.
So you see the short grass where Valerie is going towards there. This is new safe landing zone for the women. Very easy to do that though. So it kind of like sucks you in, like this is a safe area. But to get your disc to not hit either of those trees on left and right that line the road and not get a huge skip back into the tall grass is very difficult.
It's a lot of trust in your disc too, especially with trying to land it on the narrow strip.
JK might have skipped off the tee pad, and that's going to be a tough call. They're going to have to look at the line there. Ella going to have to pitch out, and that's not a bad shot. This is a par 5, so she can pitch out there and still get to the basket with her next shot for birdie.
Paige choosing to also do the same layup.
Now this, if I remember using my bush now, it's a little over 400, but with the right wind and turn, we can go out here. Ella's close to give. That would have scooted just a little bit more. So we have to kind of pitch out, but then we have to lay off just a little bit on this next shot. And that's what Paige did. Paige was probably a little afraid of going long. And so you throw it just a hair soft, and then you're going to hyzer off and get that. So when we pitch out, it's a difficult second shot for us, even though we can easily make throwing over that tall grass. It becomes almost a tweener shot for our distance on the next shot.
So both Juliana and Valerie went OB here on this strip.
She leaves that low. We need to hurry. There we go. Just inside circle 1. Ugly wind bounce would have smashed that down. So she got lucky there. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Great height from Valerie. Gets a little bit of a slide. She's just outside the bullseye. Paige has this huge oak tree. I'm going to say oak tree. Oak trees are big. Big tree to putt around. Ella the same.
Unfortunately, that was her pitching up her 5th throw. Ella pitching up her 4th.
So we'll see if Juliana can hit another long putt. She's hit several today. Oh, good bid.
That's par for Valerie. And it's a good par. This hole played as the 3rd most difficult.
Yeah, this averaged 5.59, so just a little over par.
We got a good number of birdies on it. 8 birdies. And that's Paige with her bogey after going OB on her 3rd shot. And Juliana got par, so she must have been safe on that 2nd throw. This is hole 17. This is a par 4, 570 feet. The second shot is really the tricky part. It's got a low ceiling, so you want to land somewhere a little bit past where the tree line starts. And then you give yourself about anywhere from a 200-foot approach and in. There's OB on the left and the right, but the more common OB strokes come on the left side from the fading in on the approaches.
Yeah, it's a hard second shot because not only do you have those low branches that we have to go under, but the ground comes up.
Yeah.
And so with this basket goes up and over kind of this hill. Ground comes up quick on the drives. Ella going big hyzer. I don't know if that is going to hurry back out of that tree. If you can get around that cedar, you can sneak in, and it kind of takes away all those little trees in the middle. I see a lot of the guys go out and around that way. Their basket is probably like 150 feet, 100 so past ours. Mm-hmm. But like Juliana's did, it cut through that cedar, so it's a good placement for the second shot. Paige trying to go up the gut. Sneaks through all the trees and gets back to that spot that has about 150 left to the basket.
Beautiful drive.
Yeah, that's a difficult placement for Ella to try to pitch out of. Valerie does a good job not hitting her hand on that tree. She was so close, but unfortunately, it was probably in her head, and that made her get the next one. This is a shot that JK does best. Those low ceiling shots, she has just mastered over the years.
And that's a tough shot. Like Jen said, it plays uphill with the low ceiling. It's a tough combo.
she is so good at that low to high shot. Years of tossing an actual frisbee around. Mm-hmm. Valerie gets her next shot up there inside circle 1. This is Paige's drive. Beautiful approach. Gets caught up just on that last tree.
Looks like about a circle's edge putt.
Mm-hmm.
She swings it a little bit too wide left, so she's got a long putt for par.
Wow.
Yeah! We got the Ace Run Pro run back.
Yeah, so that's from probably about 45 feet or more. Just keeps it in the left pocket. In is in.
If you're paying attention to the score, she's got a lot. She got 5 birdies so far on the back 9. She's at 7 down. That's a great par save.
Paige throwing in the birdie. And Valerie throws in her par.
Yeah, so this hole played as the 8th most difficult. Definitely want to get out with your par if you can. And we got 2 birdies on it. Oh no, 1 birdie.
An idea, a spark. Creativity is the lifeblood of ingenuity. The thought, a catalyst to progression. We create to inspire, to provide quality of mind. Because without the mind, the body is nothing. Without the body, the mind is nothing. Thought space. Elevate your mind. Elevate your game.
Here we are, hole number 18 of our first round of the 2022 Professional World Championships. This is a par 4, 701 feet. Not quite as much OB for us, as tight as the previous, all the other holes on the course. We can land anywhere right there to punch through that gap. That area is OB if you hit the trees and land in the creek. And then we're going to approach this basket. Not only is it up elevated on a little crest of a hill, but a very high elevated basket as well. So this first shot, getting it out there anywhere left of that little tree, Juliana throws right between them, and it's going to hyzer left. Hits the drop zone area. But if we can get past there, it really kind of gives you that open look to approach the basket. That's one of those things she was probably aiming at it and didn't really mean to actually hit it. Her aim is good. Paige trying to take the route through there as well.
She needs it to swing.
Perfect. And a good skip is going to get her right in the middle of the opening. That's going to be a great lie. Valerie should cut in front of those trees and land around where Paige did, just back behind. So she should have an open look as well. Even an open look though, nothing wrong with laying up short of that creek, because if you hit anything left or right, you could easily drop down and give yourself an OB stroke. So we'll see if Valerie goes for it. She's right in the opening. Punches it through beautifully. Now we want it to stop because there's OB left, but she's going to be just fine. So OB left and right, and then around the backside of this green. That Mando over there on the right, you see that light pole, doesn't really come into play, but it's there.
Wow, nice.
Beautiful S shot for Juliana, getting her all the way up there, just outside circle 1. Ella's going to punch up her forehand. Going to be an easy look for par there. She'll probably pitch up that next shot.
This is a great drive.
Yeah, Paige can punch this up there and get a birdie to finish off the round. Lets it go just a hair late, but doesn't go too long, so that's not a bad shot. She was wanting it underneath the basket, but she's going to have a long look for birdie. Ella releases that a little high, puts her just outside the bullseye. So we just want to, this is such a high basket. You just want to pitch it close. If you're going to lay up and commit to that layup, you want it underneath. Just like that, Juliana was not going for it. She just wants to tap in to finish out the first round.
Giving it a go.
Yeah, she was full committing to that birdie. And so
gave
she's
herself a comebacker, but
yeah, this is about the same distance. She's outside circle 1 by a foot.
And she's downhill of it, so it's even higher.
I think that's something you go for early, though. You know, like if you're gonna go for it, beautiful. If you're Paige and but you're sitting there circle's edge, you know, for a birdie on round 1. We have a lot of golf left, so worked out. Ella throwing in her par save.
And we got another 2 tap-ins for par, which should put us at a par frame for the last hole. It played as the second most difficult hole, and there was only 1 birdie on it.
Wow.
Henna Blumroos.
Nice. And that was a tap-in. I saw that, actually.
Wow.
So 2 beautiful shots from Henna to get the only birdie on the 18th. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This was round 1. Make sure you are ready for round 2. We will go to the country club.
Got some hot shooting here. Ella being in 3rd place. We got Jen Allen and Evelina at 6 under. Tatar at the top of the leaderboard with her 10 under. And Henna at 8.
Yeah, huge round for Kristen to step out and start the pace with.
Thank you again, and make sure you follow Ace Run Pro. You can follow Jen Allen and Leah Sinagini online on our socials.
Thanks for joining.